Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Programming 250 GA, Webpage Programming 3. Just a quick little house cleaning before we start. Really quick, this cat tends to be my class mascot. Her name is Macy. She's my VA companion animal. All right, so for this week, what we're going to be covering today, who am I? And we're going to be doing the introduction to the class. So a little about myself. I am a local fire performer, eat, breathe, spin fire here in Boise, Idaho. Graphic arts, web designer, animator, photographer, and all sorts of fun things. And I just started a new project in the area of creating a documentary. So we'll see how that goes. I retired out of the Air Force 9 years ago now. I have 4 kids, been married to my wife for 4 years now. 4 kids, 24-year-old daughter who has, as of today actually, 2-year-old son, so my grandson's birthday is today. We, have a 21-year-old son. He's married. He's in the Marines out in North Carolina. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old daughter that I adopted them. They're my wife's. I adopted them this last December. So that's the quick little bit about myself. Now let's talk about why I'm able to do this class for you guys. I have, in 2006, graduated from Stevens-Heiniger University and the Boise campus with my bachelor's in graphic arts. 2011, I graduated with my bachelor from Stevens-Heiniger Online, which is now Independence University, and that was my bachelor's in graphic arts. Then 2 years ago, I graduated from Independence University with my master's for my MBA. So the question that you guys probably have is, with all that, how can I teach a programming class? 1984, I started programming on what was called a TI-99-4A. Then I moved in 1985 to the Commodore VIC-20 and soon to the Commodore 64. 1987, I moved on to the Apples. Here's a little quick preview of what those Apple IIs looked like. But this was the Apple II. That was basic programming, all right? Long time ago, but boy, were those fun. Not much color, not much of anything compared to what we could do now. I also, that same year, was learning on what was called the Mac Plus. There's a good image of the Mac Plus. Oh, wow. What was that? The Mac Plus. And so I've been programming for a long time. I started the programming then on the Mac Plus. It was what was called Pascal 1. The following year, Pascal 2. Pascal's not really used anymore today. So that gives you a little bit on that. Been building websites since 1996 in the Air Force. It was one of my additional jobs. And from then on, it was animation into the what used to be called Flash, Adobe Flash. I've been using all sorts of different programs, to even writing the basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on websites since then. I've also dabbled in different types outside of the Adobe programs. And I always come back to Adobe, but there's WordPress, there's Drupal, and a few others. But that's pretty much about me. So that's why I'm able to teach programming, is I've been doing it so long that I've got the graphic arts side, which is the right-minded side, and I've got the programming side, which is the left-minded side. Most programmers tend to be left-minded when it comes to doing things in their process. And this is where it usually separates the programmers from the designers. But if you can learn to do both, it's great. It opens up so many different things. All right. So that's me. Now, if you guys have any questions throughout the class, make sure to ask. So let me go into how to get in touch with me. All right. So I'm Mike Brooks, also known as Loki. Email michael.brooks@independence.edu. Telephone numbers 208-90192. Skype michael.brooks.boise. Now, if you guys want quicker replies, because I have my phone with me all the time, phone call or text. Usually I can respond to text quicker because I don't have to actually interrupt the phone to take a phone call, but I can just respond to a text. But it varies, and it's up to you guys which one you use. But if you do call or text me, make sure you tell me who you are and what class you're from. If you have to leave a message when you call, definitely. If you don't leave a message, I don't call back people who don't leave messages. It's one of those things to work on for your professionalism. If they're not going to need to call you, leave enough message, then most of the time it's not important enough to call them back. So just make sure you do. And that's nothing against any students or anybody. It's just one of those things I've done throughout the years because, well, there's no need to waste your time in the professional world on somebody that doesn't want to give you the time to let you know who they are, as you'll start to see. So it's kind of my way of also helping train you guys into that professionalism portion. All right. That being said, in this class, Web Page Programming 3, the course objectives. And I do read these word for word. That way I can also explain as we're going through the discussions, points, the assignments, and the assessments. I can actually give you my input, and you can understand a little more of what I'm expecting. All right, so upon completion, successful completion of this course, you will be able to explain the benefits of using SEO as a web designer, implement effective keywords to ensure the targeted audience is able to find the website via a search engine, identify SEO tags and terminology, discuss how Google Analytics provides analytical insight on who is visiting a website, determine who the targeted audience is and which web pages generate the most traffic, identify commonly used Google Analytic elements, discuss why a web designer needs to design with websites with mobile first in mind, implement media queries to adjust the website's display for mobile devices, identify commonly used CSS tags for media queries, implement media queries to adjust the website's display for tablet and desktop devices. All right, so with that, now we're going to move on to what's expected for week one. So week one, why is SEO important? adding SEO to the Pals for Life website. Discuss the benefits of Google Analytics for week 2. Create a Google Analytics account. Add Google Analytics to the Pals for Life website. And report the data Google Analytics found. Week 3, discuss why web designers should design for mobile first. Add media queries to make a website responsive for mobile devices. Add media queries to make a website responsive for tablet and desktop devices. All right. Okay, so for this class, this says that there's 2 hours per week. There's actually 4 hours per week now. Now that this class is being ran by the graphic arts department, we're required to do 4 hours of live lessons versus 2 per week. So that's why that is, just to let you guys know. All right, so week 1. Explain the benefits of using SEO as a web designer. Implement effective keywords to ensure the targeted audience is able to find the website via a search engine. Identify SEO tags and terminology. This week, you'll dive right into learning the basics of SEO. In addition, you'll discuss why SEO element every web designer needs to master and use. You'll finish this week with a quiz about what you have learned about SEO tags. Now, I'm only covering the graded stuff, as the introduction to yourself is not graded. We're not going to worry about that. But if you guys feel free, please do. All right, now, learning objectives covered for this week's discussion. Your initial post is due by Wednesday, and then 2 replies by Saturday, by the end of the week. Now, the initial post, because this is a 200-level class, you have 100, 200-level classes, only need at least 150 words per post. That does not count your references. Now, for the initial posts on references, I don't allow Wikipedia and sites like that to be used as references. If you do put one up, add another reference outside of Wikipedia to back that up. The reason, Wikipedia is always changing. So they do not always put their research into it. Some of the times they'll just accept the reasoning. I've seen this on some sites that I did some research on. Now, what we're going to be doing, explain the benefits of using SEO as a web designer. Okay, so as a web designer, not only are you responsible for the programming of the website, the style and layout, you're also responsible for ensuring the client's targeted audience finds the website you created. This is done by adding search engine optimization, SEO, to the HTML code on each of the web pages the website has. In the following video, the presenter points out some tips and tricks to get ranked. But if you pay attention to what verbiage he uses and how he applies it, that is where you as a designer comes in to make sure you are writing copy that works for not only the end user, but for the search engine ranking bots. As you can see, being a hybrid designer will allow you to not only design well laid out websites, but give your client or employer writing and coding skills to help their website get found. More traffic to their site means more money in their pocket. So the more expanded your knowledge is on SEO, as a web designer, now they don't need to hire a second person to do the SEO. You'll be able to do the work of both people, which makes you a more valuable commodity for the company. All right, so for this week's discussion, research and explain 3 different reasons why SEO is important for all web designers to know. And as you can see right here, content, keywords, and links. I've already started this. Now, a thing to remember is we no longer require APA formatted references. So you put your reference in there like this, that's very acceptable, okay? That's why this APA is no longer required, but it is 1 citation. All right? As well as 2 follow-up posts. Now, those posts need to be at least 50%. Now, when it comes to copying from a website, make sure that you do not copy more than 20%. I do random checks, and if I find it, I'll let you know and give you the opportunity to fix it. If it's not fixed, it becomes a 0 for that week. All right? Then just email me once you've fixed it. It does not always come across to us that you made the change. All right, so that's the discussion. There we go. The assignment, adding SEO. Implement effective keywords to ensure the targeted audience is able to find the website via a search engine. There are millions, if not billions, of websites out there on the web. In order for an end user to locate the website you are designing for this course, we need to add specific keywords. Specific keywords such as the city, state, and what the website offers can help bring your website to the first page results. In programming 111 graphic arts, you created the HTML for the Pals for Life website. And in programming 249 GA, you created the CSS. In this course, you'll add SEO, multimedia, analytics, and make your website responsible for mobile and tablet devices. This week, you will add SEO to all your pages. Open week 4, programming 249 GA folder on your computer. If you're unable to locate the folder, please use the zip folder here. All right, so if you no longer have those, there's the Pals for Life site. That's why I left this so that I could bring it up. And now we have our project, right? Now, what I've done on my computer, I've got, wow. For example, I have 3 classes this month, and they're each different ones. So I've taken and created a folder for MOD8, and in it's 250, week 1. Now I'm going to add the project. All right, there we have it. Now the project is downloaded and on my computer. Now, if you're using PC or Mac, a lot of these are very similar, okay? In Dreamweaver, link these files in Manage Sites. Add the required SEO for each page. Upload your website to your domain. Now, if you guys should all have a domain. If not, let me know. All right, so excuse me there. All right, so please use the week 1 website instructions start file right there to complete this assignment. All right, zip the root folder. What's the root folder? Just a reminder, this here is my root folder. It's the folder, the lowest folder that has all the files in it. So it's project right there. Because this is where I have like my discussions and such. Okay. But in this case, actually this is, yeah, I'd have my discussions here. But I have my discussions over in my classwork so that I have all my class files together to teach from. So I don't have it here. But this is where I put all my stuff. This is how I do my file organization. Because, as we all know, we're working with Dreamweaver. Now, the programs that you need for this class will be Dreamweaver to start with. And this is Dreamweaver from Adobe CC 2018. If you do not have that, please let me know as soon as possible. And we'll work on helping you get that, because you should be on it in 2018 now. All right, so that being said, just a quick look here. If you go here, if you're on a Mac, you'll notice it doesn't tell you what one you're on. But we come down here and see it tells you right there. But to also check, let's bring up Dreamweaver, and then we're going to tie to that, okay? So while we're waiting for that, bring up the directions. So this is what we're doing for assignment 1, open Dreamweaver. And this tells us how to link and manage the sites. Open the index file, add SEO to each page. Follow the live lecture instructions on how to add the description and keywords to each page. Define a description for each web page. Define at least 5 keywords for search engines for each web page. Add alt text. Follow the live lectures on how to add alt text to each page. Add alt text for each image on all web pages. Not only does this help with SEO, but it also helps your website be W3C compliant. W3C compliance is where we discuss the disability side of the website, the accessibility for disability. For example, for people who are not able to see, it will read what's there. And by making it so that even the graphics have something to be read, they know everything on the site. It's not skipping, okay? So they get just as much information as somebody who does not need to use the program. Web host. Reference the live lecture on how to locate a free web host and follow the instructions on how to upload your HTML and CSS pages and access the web page's URL. Test your code in Firefox or Internet Explorer or Google. I'm not going to say just use Firefox. And save your HTML and CSS pages, zip your folder, copy your website URL, and submit. So we're going to go into that as well. Now, for example, this is another class that I'm teaching right now, but now we also need to tie into the folder we just downloaded, because that's not the correct site for you guys, right? So what we need to do, we've opened it. First things first, about Dreamweaver, go up here, 18.2. Now, this may be a little different for those of you on the PC. Sometimes the version does not, they don't always match, okay? Same with the build. So just make sure that you're up to date on your Dreamweaver. And if not, like I said, if you need some help, let me know, and we will move forward on that one. It's really, we have that access, okay? All right, now, so first things first, I go over here and look at the site, the files. Well, this is the lawn care site, right? I need to go to, let's go back, this site. All right, and this site was the one you guys created in your other programming classes. So what we're going to do is tie to that. Easy way. Well, we come up here, do our drop down right here. Click on that, manage sites. All right, so I'm going to say a new site. And because the site's already there, it's really easy to do. What we're going to do is go here to the folder, to the working. And what I need to do is tie into my project. All right? And choose it. Now, you can name this whatever you want to name it. This is for you to see so that the name comes up here and you know what it is. All right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to say Programming 250 GA. That's what I'm going to name it. PRG250 GA. All right, so that's now set. Now I need to set up where my images are. All right, so we click on Advanced. All right, and as you can see, it brings us up to here. We are in links relative to the document. So we're not linking to the site root. If we link to the site root, images get scattered. So we're using a default image folder. And that is, we come here, the project is the type, that's the root folder, images, choose. All right? And if you guys, once you have a URL of your own, you will input it here and save. So I now have a programming one here. I say done, and it brings it up here. Now I have linked Dreamweaver to my files. All right? That's how simple that one is. Okay, so zip the root folder. When you do this, well, let's go back and grab that really quick. As we zip it, this is going to be the name, and C. When I zip that folder, what I'm going to do, for example, right click, zip. So I come down here. For the Mac, you just compress it, and then you'll zip it on the PC and see. Now we're going to rename that. I'll rename and paste it. Program 250 GA. First, last. Get rid of that semicolon. And that's what you're submitting. That's part of it. So I'm going to move that to the trash right now because we've done no work here. Now watch what happens if I go back and change the name. Move this up to here. Move zoom out of the way. All right, now there's a refresh. Notice nothing happened. If you just change the name like that, now we're going to go back in. Caps did not change a thing here. All right, what we're going to do now is go to a different one. Now we're going to go back. See, that caps did not make a change here. But I'm going to make that change just because, and look. There we have it. Make sure it still goes to here. So I'm going to do this. Now, the reason I do this is, again, there's the capital P, file organization. Now, look, see, because I changed the P's, the capitalization, I do have to recreate the cache. If I don't redo this, the site may or may not upload properly. It all depends on where you're putting it, okay? So for proper file organization, we make sure if we change the name, we fix it, okay? All right. So there we have that. And I've showed you how to link it into Dreamweaver. Whoops, I've changed to that one. How did I end up going to that one? I must have hit open a previous form. That's one of the websites I'm working on. In fact, where I will be using it for a lot of examples, okay? And I'll show you some things about that too. But for now, let's go back to the directions. All right, so in Dreamweaver, we link the sites. Add the required SEO for each page. We're going to go more into that tomorrow, all right? Now, upload your website to your domain. That we're going to talk about today. There's many ways to do this. Now, I own my own domain, so I'm going to be using that as the example, okay? I usually, when I teach, don't use the main files of the class, because that way you're just copying me. By me doing it in my own sites, then you're starting to actually see, and you'll be able to associate it. Well, he did this here. I'm just going to do similar, but I'm going to make it work on this site. This gives you the practice of being able to do it across multiple things, not just the one site. And my goal is for you to be able to do that. All right, so now that we've talked about that, let's go ahead and bring up the index. All right, this is the Pals for Life. Now, let me take a quick look here. Let's go out to a search engine. And I'm using Google right now. Pals for Life. All right, look at the Pals for Life. The home. Laughing Skull community, World of Warcraft. So, see, there's many things coming up. Well, let's look at the Pals for Life one here. Pals for Life, bring pets to those who need them. We have our drop downs. Now watch as I shrink this screen. It changes. There's the tablet version. Now let's look at the smartphone version. The smartphone version and the tablet version are very similar. Is this going to be one of the best ways to do it? Well, everything is still here. The one thing to remember, when it comes to a smartphone and you're making it responsive, you don't always have everything. You'll hide some things on the smartphone version. Too much information stimulates the viewer. Remember that. And in that process, it can cause us some issues, right? All right, so let's go ahead and go back. So this is this. Now let's look what it actually said for here. Okay, we provide pet visitation programs to nursing homes, hospitals, rehabilitation centers, blah, 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 blah. To help students relieve stress, PFL Pets visit college during final exams to interact with the students. PFL Pets includes dog, cats, rabbits, and it goes on. Okay, now where is this information? So we're going to take a look at that. All right, so remember that. What I'm going to do is do a command open for a new one. All right, let's look at the about. That is not the same information, as you can see. Now, where's this information then? Where is that information tied to the website? Well, what we're going to do here really quick is we are going to the view developer source. This is the source of that website. Now let's go up here to this keywords. Now, the keywords content, Pals for Life, Pals, Life, Wayne, nonprofit, educational, animal, handicap. So all of those are keywords, right? Now we come down here. Pals for Life is a nonprofit organization dedicated to bringing people and pets together. Notice that's it. The rest of that information is not on that page. So let's go back. Whoops. Bring back up Google. Sorry. That information. When you register with a, see, that's all cached. When you register with the sites like Google and Yahoo and so on, those search engines, when you register with them, you put a description. And that's where that is, okay? So you have to remember, you're going to register per se with each one. This mod, we're doing Google Analytics, okay? But you're starting to see now, it's more than just on that page, all right? So that source ties these keywords, all right? So if I look for Pals for Life, as you saw, this site came up first. Pals, this site will be in there somewhere. Let's take a look. Pals. Oh, nice. Well, let's do just Pals. There we go. There we go. Pals. CPR. And notice, because of my area, it brings up the closer ones first. How does it know what's close? This is why you also place and use, like I said, like I was reading the directions, your city, your state, all that, okay, and the address. But we notice, we come down here, Pals for Life is nowhere on that first page. How about the second? We look down here, still no. It is going to go through, and it's still not even here. Let's look at the images for Pals. Notice it is not in the top searches. Is that a bad thing? No, this is why we use more keywords. Whoa, sorry about that. Let's go back. This is why we use more keywords. And look at all these. All right, so now let's go to the top, Pals 4. All right, Pals for Life. There's one. Pals for Life. But these are not the right Pals for Life. Bringing pals to those who need. Look at that logo. Let's go back and take a look. They didn't put the logo on the front page. That's another issue. Okay. That can cause some issues with people being confused. But it's nothing really major. Now let's go back. All right. Pals for Life Home. That is the logo. They have two logos, which is really confusing to people. But I can understand the use of both. Okay. It can get confusing, but it can also clear things up in certain places. All right, so now once again, we're going to go small and watch. It still has both logos. All right, so now we see this, but let's go look again. Pals for Life, it's not in the top. There's one of them. Let's keep looking, see if we see the other one. And all I did was Pals 4, all right? Pals for Paws. Oh, that's cute. Pals for Life. Pals for Paws and Purrs. Pen pals for seniors. But as you can see, pals for paws, pet sitting. There's that one, but that's the main. That's their Facebook graphic. So that's why it came up, because it's all one graphic. You're not seeing that second one. Now, let's go pals for life. And it helps if I spell correctly. There we go. Interesting thing. It moved it down. What does that mean? You look at these are people that play the games, right? They're getting more hits than Pals for Life. Is that a bad thing? Well, yes and no. The good part is these people are being searched a lot and watched. But this one here, it's a little less powerful for the actual Pals for Life. But we come down here, and again, you don't see their secondary one. That is how it keeps from confusing the people. By having one graphic that they see when they look at graphics, it makes it easier for association to the company. The more images you have associating to your company, the harder it is to be remembered. That's why, for example, Nike. Let's go look at Nike's history, all right? And you'll see something here. Nike logos. All right, the swoosh, created by a graphic arts student, by the way. As we come down, you're seeing less and less of the old Nike. You don't see it, do you? It's all that swish, the Nike swish. Here's the old Nike, but there's some of the old Nike logos. 2013, they had 3, depending who they were using it on. But as you're looking here in the history, you'll notice the Nike swoosh is the main thing that's being shown. Logo histories. Nike. We come down, you'll notice they even had signatures that then they removed the signature and put the swooshes. All right. So Nike's got some history there. And that swoosh goes all the way back to 1971. A lot of people think it's new. It's not really new. They just started stressing it more again, okay? But anyway, as you can see, one logo, one more mention of the site. Now, by searching this logo, I have also put more. Let's go take a look at some of those keywords. Nonprofit, educational, animal, handicapped, elderly, visitation, impaired, mentally, students, Pennsylvania, dogs, companions, pets. Notice that they have cats in there too, but you start getting too many words of association and Google's going to start throwing it out. Google feels, okay, if you're now reaching, it used to be you'd put in the 90s, I wanted my site visible. Well, search engines were not quite up there, but what it was more of, they'd search for those keywords. And so people would put 30, 40, 50, 60 keywords in here. And 95% of them, and that's being generous, did not match what they were putting them in there. For example, I'd put up my portfolio for graphic arts. Then I'd put just the word name, Loki, because mine's Loki Designs. That works in most cases. But Google may actually look at that and say, wait a minute, you're a graphic artist. And they actually have to go back and look at it. This is one of those cases. And you're a graphic artist, you're putting up Loki. I see nothing about Loki on your site. We just threw it out of our search. For example, Loki Designs. I put cat. Because that way, anytime anybody searched anything, I popped up. So that is something now that Google Analytics is saying, it's a no-no. Because one, you're wasting time. You're wasting the people's time that are looking for stuff. They want certain things. By you doing that, you've just taken away their time because they are looking for cats. And now I have a design site. Yeah. So you just wasted their time. And by doing that, your site actually gets less hits because they'll see it on there and not hit it intentionally. So think about that. All right, now the meta name. So these meta tags are what we're talking about. All right, the meta tags. Here's all our links. Go back and look, all the links. To style sheets. Well, we come down here. Now we have our text. Again, Java queries. So we take this site and you can start to see. Now what I'm going to do, watch this. Command A, C. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to create a new page on there. All right, HTML5, create. I'm going to file, save as. And we're going to call this index 2 or 1. All right, save. So now I have index 1 here. So I'm going to do, since I just did that, Command V. All right, come up here. And there we have it. I just took that whole site and copied it. Now, the reason, because now I can discuss how to do this. As you can see, we have it right there. By doing that, I'm taking their meta tags and everything, okay? Good in that you'll start being brought up with those things, and those are what the leading website is using, right? Bad in, you have just split it between the two companies, yours and the competition. So that's something to think about as we start going into this, all right? All right, so let's go back here really quick. So now you see how that works. All right. And then we have a quiz. Quiz worth 90 points. All right, no time limit. And you'll be able to view your responses, okay? So that's week 1. That's what to expect during week 1. All right, so now that we've covered that, let's go ahead and start looking. How are some of the ways we look at keywords? All right, here's one of the ways some people do it. All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to do Pals for Life. All right, now I want to bring up Word. All right, these are going to be my keywords. Let's take what the company is actually using. Well, I've already nabbed their website, right? So that we can work with this. Now, note, you don't want to do this to most companies. Because if you're creating your own site, you don't want it to look like another page, right? And if they look so much alike, it could get your company in trouble, but it also confuses the people out there. And if you're like someone else, you just lost that edge. You need to be different but similar. There's a general layout idea for each thing, okay? And we'll go into that too. But right now, because of this, I just grabbed those words. All right, so Command V. All right. We're going to actually do it this way. Now we see Wayne. How does Wayne work there? How does Wayne fall into this? And I'm doing this so we can actually see each individual word, and you guys can see the thought that goes into this. And this is a key thing for anything you do on the web. The paperwork comes first, right? If we're not doing the paperwork first, we have no clear direction. So this is something you'd probably think about prior to even starting. Some people do. If there's two people working on it, an SEO expert and the designer, they'll both start. But if it's a web designer, most web designers do it before they publish the end. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different things. Now, if I want to be similar but different, they have 17 different things. Well, Pals for Life, that's the name of the company, so always put that one. Now, some people will do this. For example, animal. Notice I'm intentionally misspelling. That way, if somebody misspells, it'll bring this up. Train of thought. Old way. No longer as valid. So we will not be doing that. Okay, so you'll go out there and you can still see this on web pages because a lot of people, some people get trained how to do something. They never change. And they're still doing these same types of things. Okay. All right, now, what are some of the other things that could go in here? Let's think about it. Well, let's take a look at education. Come down here. Synonyms. Schooling, tutoring, instruction, edification, learning, training, tutelage, culture. I can put culture in now. Whoops. So, culture. And again, like I said, no spelling errors. So I've just added culture in there. Well, let's see. What else can I do for visitation? Synonyms. Visit. Ooh, examination, inspection, check, checkup, punishment. All right, so you're starting to see I can use these. But do I want to? What we're going to do, let's go back. Take that out. Now, do I want to? There are searches out there. Google keyword list, and it helps if I spell it correct. Generate a keyword list. You can actually go out to some sites. Notice All right, so keyword magic, the ultimate keyword search solution. Let's try it for free. And I'm doing this intentionally. Let's do, for example, my fire business. Loki's Fire Performance. Yes, I use Loki for all of it. So Loki's Fire Performance. Let's just say fire performer. Search. And it's going to email me all this stuff. I actually have to create an account. But look at this. Google now starts to give alternates. So instead of using the pay one, Google Keyword Planner for free. Keyword research and strategy with Keyword Planner. There's actually keyword planners. How to use the keyword planner tools. So as you're seeing, there's many options out there. Google Keyword Planner alternative for SEO free. Go ahead and click on it. All right. Fire perform. And look. Keywords. All those are keywords or key phrases, keyword phrases. And there's 86 unique keywords there. Now, let's say I wanted to put that's Google. Let's look at YouTube. Same thing. There's 9 unique ones. Amazon. So you're starting to see that no matter what site you're on, it depends. Like Amazon doesn't have any. Oh, wow, look at this. Let's take a look at what I did wrong. All right, now, does that work? There's 2 in Amazon. See, so let's go back to Google. Remember, there was 80 some. Now there's 202 unique keyword phrases. All right. So by misspelling it, it brought up 80 some. But how well do you think those would work because you misspelled it? It's a possibility. But by not misspelling it, the less chances. Okay. So there are keyword generator tools. So take a look at this one. That's that one. Whoops, we already did that. So let's take a look. Google Keyword Traffic Tool, how to use Google Keyword Planner. So there's all sorts of things, okay? Let's look at the next step. Need to know keyword research. Don't use the Keyword Planner before watching this. Keyword Planner, Keyword Planner. Notice they're all for Google. Why is that? 1, we're on Google. 2, Google is setting the standards. They have set a lot of the standards for today, okay? All right, now I'm going to take a couple minute break and I will be right back. So let's bring this back up. I'm going to open that again. And bring up the initial one. There we go. All right, so there we have it. I will be back in a few minutes. Hi, Gracie. Can you hear me?
I can.
I see that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello? Okay. Go ahead and use your microphone because I prefer using the microphones in class. It's so much easier than the text for everybody. So go ahead and do a microphone test.
That's what I'm doing.
Your mic's not working. Okay, now you may not need to restart. Oh, okay. So we will wait a couple more minutes. I think I'll do that too really quick.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead and do your test.
I'm talking.
Okay, I'm not able to hear you, but I can see that it's working. So, what we need to do now is, just lost my Zoom. Oh, there we go. Is now go up to Zoom preferences and do the test. Okay, now go ahead and try.
Can you hear me?
I can. Perfect.
There you go. I don't know what that was about.
Well, you know, Zoom has its own way sometimes.
I know the computer. I was like, well, let me try my iPad.
Okay, so you're on a Mac.
Well, I've got my computer next to me and my iPad.
Oh, okay. So, but your graphic arts side where you actually got a Mac versus the PC?
No.
No. Oh, so you just have your own personal Mac?
No, I have web development. No, actually, I got rid of my Mac. I got the HP from the school, and I got an iPad from Verizon. iPad Pro.
Okay. All right, so as I was discussing before, I was talking about we're continuing using the Pals for Life site that you guys created before. do you have that?
Just got done with it last week.
Oh, nice. Now, are you accustomed to 2 or 4 hours of class per week?
Yes.
Both?
Considering I've been having 2 classes back to back for the past 3 months. Yes.
Okay, but for each actual class, you're doing 2 hours per week of live session?
Right.
Okay. I'm checking into it because on the graphic art side of things, we're supposed to do 4. But since we're still taking on the programming, it's going to probably stay that right now. But I wanted to double check with everybody in the loop on that. So it may be changing, so we're only doing 2 hours of class per week.
Okay, I'm not sure what program they have me in anymore because I was in the IT program.
Okay.
And then they changed everything, and then Misty, they have James Major down as my associate dean and Misty.
Okay.
And I have access to both communities. I look at it as an advantage.
It is a big one. But it gets confusing.
Yeah.
And I understand that. That's why right now, this week, we're going to have 4 hours of class.
Okay.
But past that, we're going to check into that, okay? Because the graphic arts side of thing, we're required to do 4 hours of class. But the way this class is written, that might be giving you guys too much. So we're working that, okay?
Okay.
So I'm not just giving you extra class time. I'm working with the people above me that make those decisions. All right. I belong to the graphic arts side of things under the graphic arts program. As you probably know, you're starting to see that's where the instructors are, and you're like Misty. Now, I also work a lot with James Major, so I've been working with both sides for a while. So I have no problem going to the 2 hours per week for you guys. We will just see how this goes, okay?
Sounds like a plan, Dan.
Perfect. Now,
I've had you before. You know that.
I thought so. The name was familiar.
Yeah. I think Oracle.
For what?
I think it was I've had you 2 or 3 times. Oracle?
No.
No, wasn't Oracle. Was it Access?
No.
Maybe it was just the HTML class.
Maybe the basic HTML class.
Because
I don't teach the others yet. I'm working on it. I haven't touched a database for 9 years, but I know how to do it. So I'm working on getting back into teaching that too. All right. So anyway, this is the actual Pals for Life site that's out there. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is the Pals for Life site that's out there. Now we are using Dreamweaver, this mod, to work from. And as you can see, I've got the actual site there, but I've also got what you guys worked on. This is the basic one that in case there are some people that don't have it, I'll do some refresh of what I talked about in the first hour. In case you do not have it, let's go back to the assignment. You can download the folder right there. Now, for building this site, did you guys use a Dreamweaver, or did you just type it up?
Dreamweaver, and I did most of the SEO while I was doing it because of OCD.
So you're ahead. That's a good thing.
I know. I was like, sweet.
Well, I was just discussing, for example, let's look at the Pals for Life home. You'll notice this here is not in the SEO.
Correct.
Of the page. Where does that come from?
That should come from the description, the meta description.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the meta description of this page.
No, you don't have it in there.
It's not there.
Okay, you were going to teach me something new about SEO then.
You're aware that you have to actually register with each search engine, right?
Yes.
When you
Google
do,
Webmasters, Bing Webmasters have access to every one of them.
yep. And by you doing that, when you register the site, you have to give an explanation, a description of the site.
Never had to do that with Google. I did with Bing.
Oh, okay. Well, this is also some of the older Google.
Oh.
We're working with older sites as well as that. I'm talking about all of it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want you to tie them all together.
Okay.
But let's go back over. And what I did is, here's the Pals for Life, like I said. What I did is I went out and view source. And that's exactly what this is. Now see the meta tag description, this is all they put in there.
Built on Joomla.
Mm-hmm. So Joomla, what does that tell you right there also?
That's old.
Well, a lot of people still there are people that use Joomla.
Yeah. It's a management system. It's a little harder than WordPress, but
my personal opinion is I don't like Joomla. I don't like Drupal.
no.
I prefer Dreamweaver.
I do.
I even prefer it over WordPress. I've never created a WordPress site. I know how to, but I've never done it.
That's what I tell people. I know how to. I don't like it, won't do it.
But I'm not putting it down. That's a personal preference that everybody has, okay? I know some designers really prefer those. The thing I have with issues with those is stuff like what we're working on right now. The key tags, if you're not a unique organization, when you work with Drupal, they do not always cross-reference and work. If you're unique, well, that's going to pop you up on the top almost anything, right?
Right.
Now I'm going to show you something here. And this is funny. I have no SEO information on my portfolio. I use my portfolio for teaching in classes. So that's why I'm also going to bring it up right now. All right, so Loki Designs. And I'm going to actually do it without the website address. Well, the first image is my logo. It's gone above the other Loki Designs. I have no tags in it. Now, let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm ranked number 5. I have no meta tags.
But that's on your browser because you're logged in.
But it's also on others. I'm not logged in, but if you go ahead and type in Loki Designs, like that. I did this last week with someone, and it came up number 5 on theirs as well. You're right, on my browser, because I search for myself quite a bit, because I need to make sure it's working and all that, right?
.net?
Nope, .com. Loki-designs.com. And it only says home. It doesn't even,
yeah.
huh?
Number 5.
It came up number 5 for you?
That is correct.
I have no tags, no meta tags. Why does it show up that way? How can I get ranked so high with no meta tags?
Hold on, I'll tell you. I gotta do something first. Gotta look.
Okay, what are you doing?
I am looking to see how long the domain's been registered.
Ooh, you're getting there. A lot of people don't realize that. That helps too.
Let's see. Your domain has been around since 2013, so your domain has authority.
Right.
Let's see.
Now, the word home there, under most search engines would put it lower because I don't have my actual page description there, right?
Right. And you're missing an H2 and an H1.
Yep. And I'm also, for example,
no HTML5 tags either.
Yep. So how did it get number 5 other than the length that the domain's been registered?
Because you've been around for a while.
Okay.
Let me go check the other ones though.
Okay.
Validate what I'm saying.
Well, that's part of it. You're on the right path, okay? I've never looked it up on this site, but guess what? There it is too, number 5. I've never looked it up on this Google site. Well,
the Muse. So I guess you heard of the end of life.
Oh yeah. See, I created this. Like I said, I use this. This is what I created in the class to show them the basics of it and how to put it out there.
But it's all HTML, and the search engines like HTML versus a bunch of script that it cannot read.
Yep, that's one other reason. The other reason, there's a couple reasons. One, as I was mentioning before, the unique name. There's not a lot of Loki designs out there, but there's a few, as you can see. But the other thing is
load time.
Load time, which is a little slow because, well, if you look at that layout, see what it did to those graphics? See how I have those graphics laid out? That slows it down. You just saw how it took a couple seconds to pop that last one up.
But your performance is still at 99 as far as load time.
It is. And you do realize I've also not optimized any of the graphics.
Right, but your SEO is still at 89.
It is, and that's good. But the other thing is, the more hits you get, right? If I'm using this as my example in class and all the students are going to it for the last 2 years.
Dude, you're so smart. Can I throw you a few websites?
Huh?
I said I should throw you a few websites.
This is part of what we're talking about, right?
Right.
And that's something a lot of people forget. Is if I could get more traffic to my site, it's going to increase it. Now imagine if I add those extra things that aren't there. I could probably do better.
Yeah, and I mean, I know people say that it takes like a year to rank your website, but I've done it personally to where if you SEO your site correctly and you go through and you take the time in the HTML, not WordPress, Joomla, or anything like that, but you take the time to make sure your alt tags, your JSON schema, everything's installed correctly, you can actually get it within a week showing.
You can, exactly. And that's our goal here. The sooner the better, right?
That's right.
I have one site that's already showing, and I haven't done that again for them either. And I've done it a combination of Dreamweaver and Muse. So what we're talking about has a lot to do with all of this. Let me show you that other site really quick. And like I said, I've been programming websites since '96. Things have changed a lot. This didn't used to exist. We used to throw anything in there. Now look at the meta tags that I have on this right now.
I remember that site.
Huh?
I remember you working on that site.
And now I have it working. So yeah, you had me for Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
But I started this site intentionally. I put it together as a mock-up in Muse, then brought it to Dreamweaver to do all the coding. And that's what Muse is good for. And that's why I'm sad it's going away. But let's take a look. Now, there's a problem here with Google Chrome and the way it looks at the site. What? Really? Wow. Oh, that's because it's going to my computer. Why? It's being very difficult on that. So what we're going to do is there it is. It's still in the working, but as you can see, let's go to, for example, this one. I got that to work now. And this is all programming, but the reason I bring this one up, I just realized that the logo's not coming up. But the reason I bring this one up, well, let's look at that. View source. No meta tags. Number one, I'm still working on it, so we don't want it live. By putting the meta tags in there, even if I don't fully register it, it's still going to start showing up, correct?
That is correct.
Now, once we register it, that even shoots it up more. But because this is a unique one, all they have to do, let's go over here again. This is why I have so many browsers on my computer. How many do you have on your computer?
I've just got 2.
There's the Facebook page, Facebook. Okay. And look. If I look for the VFW Post 4000 website, it comes up. So this adds more proof to that. The two things we were saying, the unique name, just because it's VFW Post 4000. Every post has its own number. That makes it unique.
Showing.
Huh?
But the logo is not showing.
The logo's not. And I got to work on that later, and I think I know why.
Yeah, I think I know why too.
Because if we look at the logo, what haven't I done?
You haven't linked it. It doesn't have an alt. It doesn't have a title. But I also think it's because you don't have a dot /.
Okay. Well, let's go here. And this is all important, as you were saying, because this is all metadata, right?
Right.
So, VFW Post 4.
I mean, the FabCon is showing, but.
Oh, it's not even showing there.
Right. And that's what I went to.
That's weird. It was showing on Google, on Chrome last week. But that can also depend on the browser sometimes. But you're right. I have none of that.
Or HTTP.
Yep. So without any of that information, that all ties up here as well. You understand how that is all tied together, right?
Yes.
For example, especially the title of the page. You notice mine showed home, right?
Uh-huh.
That's because the title says home. If the title doesn't say home, well, it'll say whatever's in there. So the metadata, again. Now, as I was explaining earlier, some of the old metadata, we would cheat. How long have you been programming websites?
8 years.
8 years. So you probably know some of those cheats that Google now says, I'm taking you out of the running because of.
Right.
For example, I went to the index again, like I said, go to the top, and I took their keywords, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, those keywords are right there, all of them. What is one of the ways we used to cheat?
Keywords.
Right now, huh?
Keyword stuffing.
1, 2, 3, 4,
More
5,
than
6.
15 in there, and then you you could cloak them as the same color as the background to make the keywords stand out in the or be in the page, but people wouldn't actually see them, but they would be in the metadata.
Right. They'd look exactly the same, right?
Right.
All right. There's 17 keywords in this page. What are the number that they're now starting to suggest?
Google, none. Bing, long tail keywords, I believe it's 10.
So this one's actually pushing it. Right?
Right.
Now, I went out and I searched pals. It didn't even come up on the top 3 pages. Life, none. So where does the word Wayne come in?
It's one of the images alt tags or one of the images.
Okay.
Names for
it was. So let's take a look.
Oh, hey, I just Googled my site. I got little snippets. Cool.
See, and this is a good thing that I love teaching the programming side is most of you have a site already in your own domain. It makes it easier.
Oh, there's my commercials.
Oh, nice.
I haven't checked it in 2 months, so.
You what?
I haven't checked it in 2 months.
Oh, nice. Okay, so one of the other ways we used to do it, and it goes kind of along with the stuffing. Well, let's see. Let's take instruction or edification or learning. Guess what? Learning. Synonyms. Creature. All right, so there's a start, right? That's another way of stuffing them.
Going to Black Hat SEO school.
Huh?
I said Black Hat SEO school.
Well, here's one other thing that we used to do. And I'm pointing this out because these are things if you try now, some of the web services allow it. Google is saying,
Right. And they will block your ads, block your site.
Yeah, big time. Okay, see what I did there?
Ouch. Hold on. Yeah, you misspelled it.
Uh-huh. Because that way, if they misspell it, it still brings it up. Why are they so picky on that one, though? Because you're not really stuffing it there. You're just making it so that you have a better chance if they mistype it.
I don't know why they're so picky there. That's one thing I haven't made attention to.
Well, let's take a look. We're going to go here. And we're going to misspell this. It still brings up.
They autocorrect.
They autocorrect automatically. And they ask, is this what you wanted? If not, then you do click there. So they give you that option. They automatically put that in there. So you no longer have to do that. They have cut your work out. That's a good thing with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by you actually putting all those extra things in there, you're now just wasting space. Granted, one word is very, very small on the internet. But if I have a million websites with 10 misspelled words, that starts to take up space, right?
Right.
And Google wants everything faster now and accurate. So it's going to help us save space, save time, and all that. I'm going to be going over tomorrow. Like I said, we're going to find out for sure. Because today we're talking about the adding the SEO stuff. All right. So the things we need to add today. We're going to go back. All right, so we have the words. And I did this on purpose. All I did was copied that. You know how to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, that's the one thing I like about the programming side. You guys are used to this because it's not cheating to take the code. It's actually benchmarking, and it's legit because it's all, there is no difference in how to code. So it's not copyrighted or anything. Now, if I use this page as itself like this, that's an issue because now I'm dealing with copyright, correct? Is that correct?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Now I
Okay,
can.
I put my headphones in.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so as you can see, though, if I use this site as is, I'm now committing a copyright issue.
Mm-hmm.
But if I make those changes, how many changes do I have to make?
I'm not sure, but I have been threatened with a copyright infringement before.
You know, and the thing is, within the graphic arts community, that happens a lot. Web design, not as much, but it does happen.
It was false, but it sure did scare the heck out of me.
Yeah, it wakes you up to, wait a minute, okay, maybe this. A lot of people say, well, you change it 20%. And now it's not.
Yeah, I would say 50 or more.
The best rule is don't go by a percentage. Go by, and this would also help with this, with all these, because if I put this up and made 20% changes, I can piggyback off of their keywords, right?
Right.
By doing that, I'm actually taking some of their copyrighted information.
Which Google can also, and Bing will look at it as you are trying to hijack.
Yep, and that's what it comes down to, is hijacking. So by making myself change those words and change this, the best rule of thumb. Yes, I could see where I got my idea, but it does not look 100%. It does not look like that site. It does, but it doesn't. There are similarities. You can see where I got my idea, but they're not enough similarities to say it's the same site, basically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So my rule of thumb is I never look at a percentage. I look at the look of the site.
It's visual going to match visual.
Exactly. And that's one of the things they look for. Now, let's go back to this. So now I need to put in all this, which you did already. All right, so I have my initial meta tags, the UTF. What's that one?
UTF-8.
And what's that?
I can't. Now I'm cutting out. I can't hear you. Are you there?
Yep, now I am.
Okay. Well, now what'd you say?
What is UTF-8?
That tells the, oh my God, it's not Unicode, but it basically tells how to respond with the browsers.
Yep. Okay, now we look at the next one.
That just lets it know that it's compatible with Microsoft Edge.
Now, if I don't say that, why do I have to say that?
Well, so the browser knows and it doesn't take as long to load, from my experience.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Basically, I'm saying, hey, Edge, now that you're looking at this site, I've written it so it works with you. But you notice it only says that with Edge.
Right, but that's also the comments that are highlighted out also lets it know that, okay, if you're on this type of browser or this version.
Yes, HTML5, the JavaScript differences. And there are a lot of differences between HTML5 and HTML4 and 3.
Right.
All right, now, let's take a look at how they did this. We're going to close that now. We no longer need it. All right, so for the meta tags, I know I need the keywords. So what I can do is I'm going to copy that and place it over there. But where does it go?
You got to do it's a meta tag. It's a meta name, keywords, and then content equals.
Okay, just like that, right?
Yep, yep.
So basically I copied it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why did I do that? Now, I'm not cheating again. But what it does is this is all set up. We have this.
Right,
I'm going to actually be doing a lot of the programming tomorrow. Today I'm showing some of the shortcuts.
If you hit the refresh button, though, in the properties, you'll have a little box show up where you can edit the keywords.
Yeah. We'll do that for you. There we go. All right, so now we have that. But notice it put it inside, which that's easy to fix. Just go like that. What did I just do?
You took away the white space.
Okay. Now that white space when you're programming, that's not going to make a difference to the way it runs, is it?
I've seen some instances where it does. If it's not put on there correctly, because if I remember correctly, this is how I've always coded. The browser goes line by line when it's downloading a web page for you to view.
It does, and that could slow it down. You're correct. But it doesn't stop how it looks. It will not affect that. But now, why is that? What's this called? It's called dirty code.
Yeah.
And you know, we hate dirty code, don't we?
Yes.
Because any dirty code, if I had 30 lines there, it's going to slow the browser down that little bit. And when it comes to getting somebody's attention on a website, you know, it used to be a website, you have 5 seconds. Today's very fast-paced world, 1 to 2.
Right.
I call you Siri. My Siri decided to talk to me. But today's world, 2 seconds makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So we get rid of that dirty code. And that's why I brought that over like that, just so we could talk about the dirty code. All right, now, well, we have all these. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to take a new Word document. File new. All right, now we're actually going to create our own code base. And this way, I have my own code library to take from. Do you have one?
I have a program.
Huh?
I have a program I use.
Okay. Well, let me show you something else here really quick. We're going to take, come on, I'm going to take out the word. Let me take out the words. Okay, we just went to Word. We were going to do it in Word, but guess what? I have a way to create my own code snippets.
And the Dreamweaver snippets, right?
Yep, and look, the new snippet. And this is going to be mega tag. Description. Mega tag for keywords. Trigger key. Okay, I'm not going to put a trigger key. I rarely use trigger keys because sometimes I'll change my mind which one I want to use when I'm looking at them. Now I'm going to put the code. Notice it still put it because I forgot to recopy it. So what I'm going to do is take out to there. and put a space in. All right, now, see how it says mega tag up here?
Mm-hmm.
All I need to do,
You have an S in there.
yeah,
Okay.
but that's okay because now I'm going to delete it. Come on, go back, go up. Oh, I'm running out of memory. And this is how, one of the ways you can tell you're running out of memory when you've been programming all day, is your arrow keys stop working. You've had that, huh?
Too many times.
Now watch. Now, I have my meta tag there in my snippets. Dreamweaver now allows you to do it within the program so you don't have to go out, copy, paste. All right, so what are some of the things we need here? We need, well, first, let's definitely put the name, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, now they put pals. Pals isn't bringing anything back, and I'll show that again. Okay, so we're going to do pals for life to begin with. All right, notice it comes up number 1 because that's its name, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, let's go back and just do pals. As we go down, it's not showing up. Like I was discussing earlier, there's 2 reasons. Well, there's a few, but the main 2. First one, you notice, if you were to type pals, you would have a whole different section because of where you live.
Right.
It also goes back to city, state, location. Right?
Yes.
Very
Unless you have
first.
that turned off.
Unless you have it turned off, which most people have it on because they're looking for something in their area.
Unless they just watch the Facebook thing. Mark Zuckerberg in Congress, privacy.
Oh, yes. Good point. Yes. That's going to affect what we do. You realize that.
Oh, I know. It's already affected it. That's why I just moved from web design to selling data.
I mean, we're going to have all sorts of things pop open to us now. But anyway, now, so that was pals. So do I want to use the word pals?
No.
Why not?
It's you're competing against too many other.
You are. So what is a way that I could do this? How do I start finding good words to use? What do you do?
I go to either Google Trends and I look at the search history on what it, I start with the basic idea.
Okay.
And then I go from there. I have used SEMrush. They are expensive.
They are, and I don't like them.
And I've used SEO modes on Alexa.
Well, let's take a look here.
I've used that.
And this mod, we're going to be using it more.
Oh, I'll finish my certificate then.
That's next week.
I'm due for my renewal.
Oh, nice. Okay, so notice I can't use this right now, can I?
No.
You actually have to have a Google account. We're going to go over that next week, I believe. But these keyword planners, my speaking today, these keyword planners come in very handy. But, all right, well, let's see. One of them's going to be a really good one here. Animals, dogs, cats, because they advertise both. If you look at the actual site, and this is why you need to look at, and this is the
And-
problem with having this site here.
Animal adoption.
And yep, an animal adoption. But the problem with having this site right here, let's go look at them again. Do you realize this demonstrates more than this of what they do? They have 2 logos. But when you do a logo search, the only one that comes up is Pals for Life. They know that. They know how to do that. They know how to market by using just one logo, but the second logo on their site helps show a little bit more. So, all right, now, so you said what?
Pet adoption. Maybe pet adoption near me, depending on where they're at.
Well, pet adoption will bring up something else for their competitors, believe it or not. So using that one is maybe shooting yourself in the foot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because remember, they have the local thing turned on.
Okay.
Now these others, well, they're not as bad because they're actually a little more focused on what they do. So what type of animals are these?
Dogs and cats.
Okay.
That's all I seen. Did we
Well,
have a cat? Yeah, we did. There was 2.
well, if you look at this right here, look at their definition. Your donation of only 70 cents a day goes fully to our shelter to help thousands of cats and dogs who are in need of medical treatment and shelter until they are adopted.
So, medically ill. Abandoned, maybe? Or...
Now, this one is a good one to have with it, right?
Yeah, animal shelter.
Now, notice, I'm doing this without going through the word checker. So, this is something you plan ahead of time, all right? But I'm doing this to show you how to get it in there. I've showed you how to create your own tag that you can constantly reuse. I just had a mind dump. Abandoned. Now, by us going through, you make a list of so many words. It's called brainstorming. Then you narrow them down to the top ones by going through those search sites of top keywords, right?
Right.
So you brainstorm. All right, so this is where we're at with this for today. We're not going to worry about that site anymore. I'm going to get rid of, let's go back to my files. I'm now going to get rid of well, actually, let's go back to the site. There we go. Index 1. There we go. It's gone. So that's now gone. All right, so I'm no longer using that. Now I can just look at it. That was my example how to get it and how to create your codes. You can type it in, you can go get it and make your own code library as you just saw. And it doesn't just work for the coding down below. It works great for the meta tags. All right, so now we have that one. Next meta tag, what was it?
You already have your viewport. Do you have your description?
Nope.
Okay, so
So
your
now-
description.
Okay, so now we need meta. And this is why I do love this. Okay, do I put description or name?
It would be looking at mine. Hold on. It would be name and then content description.
Right. Okay.
And then and then your chronicle URL after your description.
Yep. Where here, notice that doesn't have any of that in it. So did we skip something when we brought it over?
So there's your title, your UTF.
Okay, those were already there.
Equivalent. Your viewport is there. Let's see. Content name. different. That's all way too advanced than what you're talking about.
Okay, let's go back to here. And I use a lot of examples that are out there like this for a reason.
Is the UTF-8?
No,
already
look
declared
what's
for that one?
missing. Look
Oh,
what's
the
missing.
keywords.
The keywords and the content. Ah, let's go back to there. See?
Okay, yeah. You've got to name the keywords and put the content.
So I didn't bring the whole thing over, which means that is not going to fully work. It's going to kind of work, but not fully. Attention to detail on this. Make sure when you do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and now we're going to click on it and delete it. It's gone.
Letter from the Mexican president.
Huh?
I'm reading your browser notifications.
Ah. Well, if I click on that, see, now let's go ahead and edit. See? I didn't put all the coding in there. And name, mega tag. So I'm going to make the tag for keywords. Okay. Whoops. Yeah. Well, I put it in there. Ah. Yeah, we don't want it there. Get out of there. All right, there we go. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to copy that whole line. And see, that way I have my open, my close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to copy everything from open to close, not just parts of it. What happened was, did you see what I did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What?
and it showed up, wanted it showing on the actual webpage because it didn't have your brackets card.
Well, where did I make my mistake? Right here. I went from these parentheses, I went inside that one rather than this one. So I lost my keywords basically. By doing that, you lose your keywords. They're going to be registered a little, but nothing compared to if you have the keywords in there. So now we're going to copy that again. Come back over here. Go into that one. Oops. Wow.
What'd you do?
This is where it's starting to take over itself. Now, there are some issues with Dreamweaver. As you're going to notice, there are some issues. Because they started outsourcing. And those people are not all together anymore.
No, they're not.
And that's
Catalyst
why.
is gone.
Huh?
Business Catalyst is gone.
Oh, yes. And so are a few other things.
Yep.
And I noticed, I thought it was all fixed. Okay, there we go. Now I have this. There's the code. But I thought it was all fixed. Last night I was playing, and it happened again. So we're going to go back to the files, and now we're going to close that. We're not going to save it. Don't save it. Bring it back up. It'll rewrite the code here and there. Dreamweaver will, by the way.
Yes, it will. Unless you
It's-
just tell it not to.
Oh, no. When you're doing the CSS, you don't have a choice. You save it, it rewrites it intentionally. You
I thought
lose
in
part of it.
preferences.
Huh?
I thought in preferences you could change that.
No, there's an error. It deletes 90% of your CSS. It's an error in the program. All right, so now we're going to go back to my code snippets and nab that one. And look. There we have it. Notice it put it in front because I was on the same line. But also notice I didn't have that space that time. Because you go here, if I put that tab in there, right there, it's going to put it down there. But if I don't put that tab there, it's not going to do that. It'll put it right up against it. Okay, so you could program that to do that. Now I go back up here, and this is where I start my stuff. Now, normally, like I said, we'd actually go do this outside and check all our words, then we put them in. So right now, this is off the top of our head. This is the brainstorming. This is the bad way of doing it, but for class purposes, this works great. Okay, so Pals for Life, Shelter, Cats. Now, is it going to matter what order you put these in?
I don't think it does. Because Google doesn't even look at them anymore.
Okay. But who does?
Bing, Yelp, Yahoo, which is now bought by Verizon.
Well, there's no telling where Yahoo's going to be going.
Yeah.
So, but as you're seeing now, okay, so I'm going to stop right there. That's enough for that. And this, now what we're going to do, well, we're missing the next one, which is, go back over to here.
Description.
Now we need the description. So we're going to do the same thing with the description. We're going to copy one. Or you could go in and type your own. It's up to you. Okay, so this. Now we're going to add. Mega tag. Description. And notice, when you do it, if you have a section highlighted, it's going to bring that in there. So if I type this out over there, so we're going to do this first now.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to put it right here, Command V. And I'm going to take out this part, because now that'll work for anything I do, right?
Correct.
So there, add. Now I can do new snippet or edit snippet. Edit's not going to work in this case, but look, now it's there. So mega tag for description. And it automatically puts the code, so I don't have to worry about all that coding before, right?
Right.
If I code it once, I highlight it, I save it, I now have my own library of code to use. All right, and there we go. Home page for Pals for Life, an organization for bringing abandoned animals to a new family. Perfect. And guess what? Now we've got that. So let's take a look. So I could actually really, since I need both those, I could take all these and create one snippet, and then I just fill them in. So let's go back. What else is missing now? The generator. Now, do I really need that one?
No.
Why is that in there?
Because it was built with an open source content management system.
So you have to put it. Now, it used to be up here would tell us we were using Dreamweaver. It doesn't do that any longer. Now it just says HTML5. So they've gone away from, a lot of sites are doing that. They're going away from labeling what program was used to create them. Most people don't care. Most people never see it. So that's something to think.
View source.
Huh?
Most people don't even know how to view source.
Exactly. So, all right. So that's where we're at for today. I will have another class tomorrow. And like I said, I'm going to have an answer because I'm betting we may have to go back to just 2 hours because otherwise we're giving you too much information and making you be in class too much. So that's the way this class is written. But if we do, we do. But I'll know after tomorrow because this, I just gave you all the information for week 1's assignment.
Yay, I did it last week.
Good, you're ahead. All right, will you be here tomorrow?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for coming to class. Now we have 2 hours because I did take about a 10-minute break waiting for you. I figured you were having trouble getting in. So I went and took
even
a
the
pause.
Lydia on the course reading,
Yeah?
where it says click here for instructions, there is a problem.
Yeah, we shouldn't now. That should be fixed.
Okay. I'm just letting you know. I went in through the IT community.
Ah. Okay, well, I'll look into that too then. All right, well, thank you. Huh?
I said, okie dokie.
Thank you for coming to class. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we'll have some more fun with this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.